TCT presents Public Report, a look at the issues and events of importance to our viewing area. Now, here's your host.
Hello, Tyron Hoyson here again with TCT and Public Report. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm so glad you did, and I think you'll be glad you did too, because we've got a great show. We're going to find out what happens when destiny brings a group of diverse people together and what that yields. And I'll tell you what it yields. It yields greatness. And for our guest, it also yields an organization called Drill4Life that is doing some great work, and we're going to find out about it. And please help me welcome my guests. How are you guys?
Good.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being here. Listen, I want you guys to, we'll start with you. I want you to introduce yourself to me and tell me what you do with Drill4Life, and then we'll find out what it is.
My name is Dion McCarthy. I am Vice President of the board, and I help or facilitate with fundraising for our nonprofit organization.
Hello, Dion.
My name is Stacy Lambre. I'm actually one of the founding members, the executive director, and I do a little bit of everything.
Hello, Stacy.
My name is Simba. I'm from Zimbabwe, and I'm also the founding member of Drill4Life.
Hello, Simba.
Yes, thank you.
Everybody knows your name. And,
Yes.
We all know you. We all know you.
Thank you.
So let's start with what is Drill4Life? Is that a loaded question?
Yeah.
Somebody answer that. Tell me what it is.
Well, I'm going to start with that first. First of all, let me thank TCT program for inviting us to this show. I think it's great. I think we need to bring the word out about the importance of Drill4Life.
Definitely.
So, like I said, my name is Simba. I come from the great country of Zimbabwe, and I've been here 15 years. But initially, when I came to this country, it was not for me to stay. It was for me to just go to school temporarily and just go back. But I stayed, and my whole family is in Zimbabwe. I'm from a family of 11 kids. 11? 11 kids.
Okay.
And I'm the second from last. So, but I'm the only one in America. So you figure that out. But while in this country, I lost 2 brothers, and I lost a sister, and their spouses also passed away. So I have.
How did they? I don't want to interrupt you, but how did they pass away?
We have a lot of diseases in Zimbabwe, but one of the biggest ones is AIDS.
Wow.
Yeah. So that has really taken a lot of people in Zimbabwe, unfortunately. My sister had 5 kids. My brother, one of my brothers, had 3, and my other brother had 2. So all those are orphanages. Mm-hmm. They don't have. They have family, us, to look after, to look for help. So what I used to do is, as soon as I got to this country, I used to send a lot of clothes. Okay.
To your family.
To my family, because there's no clothes.
Yeah.
They're clothes, but it's expensive, and they have to go to school and all that. And I work Monday to Friday on my job A. But I also have another job B, which I clean carpets and I clean houses on weekends, and I all do that because of my family. So I posted an ad on Craigslist, and that's what I used to do: post ads, carpet cleaning, house cleaning, and then I get a call from this lady called Stacy Lambre. And she said, I need my house detailed. And she's very picky.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes. I said, Stacy, I will be there.
Was he supposed to say that? He wasn't supposed to say that, huh?
She's very picky. And I said, I will be there, and I'll clean your carpet, and I'll detail your house. So
I'm sorry, that's how you two met.
That's how
through Craigslist.
Through Craigslist.
And can I just say, you asked, what is Drill4Life? It really is destiny. Sometimes when things are meant to happen, it's out of our control.
Yeah.
And it was meant to happen.
That's awesome. So you needed your house detailed.
I did.
And you met this man, and it spawned into this.
I did. I think our very first conversation was actually email. So I didn't even get to speak to Simba person to person before he showed up, verbally, until he showed up at my front door, and it was instant. Like as soon as I opened that door, and he was smiling, which we call him the man with the $1 million smile.
The man with the, there it is.
Yeah, that's it. That's right. And literally, like I brought him in to obviously, like you said, clean the carpet, and I'm not that detailed, but I think the first 3 or 4 hours we actually just sat and talked. And I couldn't believe, I mean, I knew instantly that he was a man that I wanted to help. He was telling me what his family was going through back home.
What did he tell you?
He was describing, and this is even before we knew about the water situation, just the need, the fact that he was supporting so many nieces and nephews. He was the only one here in America. And, and Simba's struggles weren't just back home. He was here by himself. He had left his own family, his daughter and son and wife, to come here. I could not believe what I was hearing. And just the needs were so simple, stuff that we take for granted, clothes, shoes, obviously food and stuff like that. It was the first time that I think that I had ever experienced it one-on-one, and you hear about that stuff and you read about it and you see pictures and organizations, but he was so genuine and I could tell the need, and I wanted to help right away, and he was telling me about obviously even the corruption of trying to get clothes and medical supplies. His mom, I can remember we talked, and he was actually here in the United States faking illnesses. I hope I can say that.
You said it.
All right. But just to get medicine to ship back to his mom, especially. Like, I was just so moved.
So not only can we not get clean water, but clothing and medication. So the necessities.
Just
necessities. Necessities. Yeah.
Wow. Even things like toothpaste and deodorant are really hard to come by in Zimbabwe.
Sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
The thing, like you said, the things that we really do take for granted.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
So as we were talking, with Stacy, I finished my job. I did clean the carpet, and I also detailed the house. And she was happy, so that's a good thing. But she said, "I need to help you send some clothes to Zimbabwe." Okay. I said, "Sure," and I started trying to, to put some drums together, and but before we even, finished that part of it. My mom was sick. She had cancer, so I had to go back to Zimbabwe so I can make sure she's okay and whatever I could do, and like she said, bring some medicine, whatever I could do. And it was actually the first time for me to go back to Zimbabwe after 10 years.
Wow, you didn't yet. So it's been 10 years since you've been back.
Before, yes, it's been 10 years.
So your whole time here, you were just working and saving to support them.
Correct.
Gotcha.
Correct.
So you came here to support them.
I came here to support them.
Yep.
Wow.
Correct. So I went back, and before I left, she said, "Let me know what I can do to help." And I didn't think of it at that time. Okay. People say that.
Yeah, they throw that around.
They throw that around, and okay. So, and the life I had lived in Zimbabwe before I came to America, after 10 years and 11 years, it is totally different. Totally different.
Wow.
Because the country economically had gone down.
Economically.
Really,
wow.
Economically it's gone down. People are struggling. Drought, really bad.
Really?
Now, when I used to be in the village, we used to do maybe 3 miles from home to go get some water if there is a little bit of a drought. So that was there was no problem. It's nothing. We used to take our cows, 2, 3, 4 miles to go get some water to drink, and goats and all that. But this time now, when I went back, it was now from 3 miles to 7 miles.
To get water.
And we're not talking about clean water. We're talking about dirty water, at least to drink. Okay? So this is water they would take with big drums, with scotch carts, with cows. It's a whole day's job.
Wow.
Okay? And then they'll come back, and now remember, it's not everyone who has cows. It's not everyone who has scotch carts.
Right. So some people have to walk.
So exactly, some people have to walk, and those that have the cows would go and put in a lot of water so they can come and bring for the elderly, those that are crippled or whatever. You know, they cannot do it.
Yeah, and it's all dirty water.
It's all dirty water. You know, they have to bring it back, and they put in jars like this, and they have to let it sit for a while. And when it sits, that dirt goes all the way to
the bottom. Yeah.
Now you can drink it.
And it's still dirty, though.
It's still dirty, though.
Sure.
So what kind of things do you know are in that water? Isn't it like disease-causing bacteria?
Oh,
Well, I'm going to have you answer that real quick.
well, you can get typhoid is a big one in Zimbabwe because of dirty water. Cholera is another one. It kills people.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, once in the medication, as you know, the hospital facilities to treat somebody with that is just, especially in a village out in the rural areas, is next to nothing.
It's expensive?
It's
or?
expensive, it's hard to get to, it's
Yeah.
hard to find medical help, so people just end up dying because they're drinking that dirty water.
So it's really hard to live. And
Oh, yeah.
I don't think that we've even the person who's the poorest in America can imagine not having water.
Yeah.
We have a problem in Flint, I know, but people are rushing to the area. That's really drastic.
Oh, definitely. And we also have a disease called bilharzia. I don't know if you've ever heard of that disease. Bilharzia is a disease where when you drink that dirty water, it affects you internally, and then you start peeing blood.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so we have a lot of kids. I had bilharzia in my younger age.
Really?
Yeah, and so it's that, you know, and you have people that die out of that. Okay, so all these things, they happen, and you know, and as you know, clean water is a right for everyone.
Right.
It's really a right for everyone, and unfortunately, you know, these governments and these presidents need to know that there are people that don't have clean water, so they can take care of them people.
Yeah.
You know, if they are not doing that, that's unfortunate, because they take care of themselves and not the people that elected them.
Right.
It's really a shame. You know, so anyway, so when we realized that this is becoming worse than when I actually lived that life, I remembered what she had said. She said, "Let me know what I can do."
Go ahead. It's okay.
So, so I took a lot of pictures.
Uh-huh.
I took pictures, I took videos. You know, I said to my mom,
Take your time.
I said to my mom, we're going to bring a well to this area.
You're going to build a well.
We're going to build, yeah, we're gonna build a well in this area, okay? And she was very, very appreciative of that statement. She didn't say it, but she was very appreciative.
Yeah.
And, you know, even from there, I was sending her pictures, I was sending her information. You know, this is what I want, this is what we need to do. You know, and I came back. I came back with all that information, and I said, Stacy and Jim, we need this. I don't have the means.
Yeah.
You guys have the means. You help us. Yeah.
And from that, it started.
It started.
So I know when we see, let's just take, for example, Flint, Michigan, we know it's very easy to send a case of water and be done.
There's FEMA. Yeah.
But for this, you don't even know what this entails. What was it that made you want to reach out and do something?
I think, too, Simba talks about them walking 7 miles to get water. But when you see the videos, not only are they walking 7 miles with cows, oxen that look like they're ready to drop dead. I mean, these are not healthy. Like when we think of livestock, we think of healthy. And I mean, just the trip to get there. And then when they get there, they have dug into the earth. This is not even running water.
Right.
This is the hole that they've dug. For one, there's no sidewalls, it's sand. Like they're putting their life in harm's way to go down there and literally dig below the water level trying to get water. We're not even talking about running water. It was so, I mean, moving's not even the word. Like, it literally rattled me to my soul. And we talked, and when we found out the cost to drill what we call a borehole, it's not even a well, but a borehole, was less than what some people in the United States pay for their television. Like,
really?
I was so shocked.
Give me a number.
We average, depending on 6,500 to 8,500, depending on how deep you have to drill.
That's not.
It's 6,500. I was like, I can remember when the big, six. That's what, and that's what I immediately thought it was what we had spent for our TV, and then I immediately felt ashamed.
Yeah.
And so when we found this out,
you felt ashamed because you were living in luxury, and there were other people that didn't have that.
Absolutely. What we paid for our TV could have helped thousands of people. Yeah, it's that moving.
That's something for people to hear. A lot of the things that we have, all the extra stuff. Like the other day, I got mad because my cell phone wouldn't work.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
My iPhone 6 Plus would work, and I was so upset. But there are people that don't even have water.
No.
Go ahead.
And so when Simba came back and told me that, and we talked about the figure, I said, you know what? I'm involved in other nonprofits. We do fundraising, and we'll raise that and more in one fundraiser. And I was like, we can do this. We can do this. And so I said, I'll raise the money. I started reaching out to different avenues, trying to find a nonprofit that we could run it through. I would raise the money, but I needed a nonprofit to funnel it through.
Sure.
We made a couple good connections with the local Catholic church that was willing to help, but just the avenues they had to go through to get the okay to help us was taking months. And we finally got to a point where we all kind of looked at each other, everybody that was on, standing in the sidelines ready to go, and just said, let's do it ourselves.
Wow.
Yeah.
So Dion, how did you come into this?
So Facebook.
Facebook.
Yeah.
So I didn't know Simba, even though we're from the same country.
Yeah.
And I knew of Jim and Stacy because they do phenomenal work in...
You knew of them, but you didn't know them.
No.
Okay.
So I put Stacy on my Facebook, and then I saw her posting all these things about Africa, and I'm like, what is she doing? And they posted this video, and I watched the video, and they started speaking our local language, and I'm like, Stacy, what are you doing in Zimbabwe?
Right.
And she said, I'm working with Simba. So I tagged Simba, and I'm like, I'm from Zimbabwe too. Yeah. And that just, and I said, I want to be involved, because I always wanted to do something back home. I just didn't have that avenue of what I wanted to do or be a part of.
Right.
So this
is just destiny all across the board.
I
like stories like this. This is a good story.
Yeah. So fast forward, not to cut you off, I'm sorry. Fast forward to that, then my mom, and again, Stacy is still working with some other nonprofits. She's trying to see if she can fit in and all that, but obviously there's always some bureaucracy going on. So now my mom is really getting to the end of the term. This was 2014. So I hear that she's getting worse. And so I said, okay, I'm going to go back in March, okay? So I went back in March, and with all the help of these guys, okay? These guys actually bought a lot of medication for me to take back, okay? And so I went back, and I started interviewing. Even though my mom was sick, I started interviewing some of the companies or contractors that we can use. Now, we don't have a guarantee we're going to use them, but I was just trying to think ahead. So started interviewing. I interviewed about 3 borehole drilling companies or well drilling companies in Zimbabwe, okay? Because Stacy and Jim and Dee had never been in Zimbabwe. Dee has been in Zimbabwe, but Stacy and Jim had never been in Zimbabwe. So I needed them to see and feel for themselves, than for me to say I found a company.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I took that information and I came back with it. Okay. Unfortunately, my mom passed away April 12th. But at the same time, I gave these guys the information, and they said, this is the guys we want to work with. There's a company called Tandamanzi, and it's in Masasa in Zimbabwe. And they said, we're going to work with this guy. I like the guy because he looks genuine, and I think we can be able to trust each other.
Yeah.
And that was the the foundation of Drill4Life.
Yes, absolutely.
Wow.
We've been really blessed. It was out of our control, everything that happened. Brian is his name, and Simba had actually taped his interview with 3 different companies, and I knew right away, just watching the interview, I was like, that's our guy. And so we started, we started the nonprofit, got that underway, scheduled our first fundraiser.
How well did that do?
It did really well, especially for our first one. We had enough to do our first borehole, which was, and I shouldn't even say first, because honestly, when we started this, it was just to do Simba's village. Like, that was our goal.
Yeah.
And
So did you anticipate that this would be a lasting organization, or did you just want to do this one deed in his village?
Honestly, it was Simba's village when we first started.
Okay.
It did. And, the raising the money was the easy part. And so we started done. You know what I mean? Like,
Really?
when you experience something like
equated
that.
to that?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
And so I was getting in a little bit of bits and pieces. And when I got back into the United States, getting off the boat and stuff like that was pretty hectic. And so we get on a flight right away, and in our layover in Atlanta, I literally get off the plane, and I've got a message from Simba that says, "Stacy, call me, we have a problem." My heart was like in my feet, like and so I call Simba, and he says, "We have a dry hole." And at first I'm just
What does that mean?
I did, exactly. And then he says they can't hit water, and so I'm thinking, well, we got to drill deeper.
Yeah.
And he said it's not an option. And in the way the time zone is, we're about an 8-hour difference.
Right.
And so I'm trying to digest this. I've got to get back on a plane again. And we had just raised, literally knew what the estimate was to dig the borehole.
Yeah.
That's what we had raised.
Yes.
Right.
And it's the same cost.
To do it again. You'd already spent it.
Yep.
It was for a dry, and they don't guarantee water.
What a setback.
And well, I'll never forget it. It was the night of the national championship. It was
Ohio State.
Ohio State.
Yeah.
And so literally we schedule a call with our digging company. Let's talk at 12:30, midnight, because that was like 8 a.m. their time.
Yeah.
And so we all get on the conference call together, and we're talking to Brian, the manager, the guy that's overseeing the project. And one thing just to give a little bit of history, when Jim and I are business people, we run businesses, and so when we raised this money and had to wire it to them, I was so nervous because all I had heard about was the corruption there.
Yeah.
And I had checked into legal routes, and basically the only guarantee was what was written on paper. If they took our money and ran, there was nothing I could do about it.
So you had to act on faith.
I had to act on faith. And so what happened, with that being said, we're talking to Brian. He's got rigs on site wanting to know what we want to do. And it's about probably midnight or 1 in the morning at this point. And I said, Brian, if you're asking us if we can drill again, because that's what I think they wanted to know from us, I said, we don't have the funds.
Right.
And he said, if you can send me an email that says you'll pay us, we'll dig again.
Wow.
Yeah. I think that's really big there. That comes back to what she said earlier, trust.
Yes.
That just looking at Brian and discussing with him on Skype and all that, there was already trust that was built, because these contractors, they don't guarantee water.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what they tell you. We pay for a surveyor to go and survey the land and see where the water is. But they don't guarantee that. Mm-hmm. So,
if we want to learn more about, because this is great, before we run out of time, I want to make sure I get this, to find out more about what you guys are doing and get more of the backstory, where can we go? Is there a website?
That's the best. It's drill and then the numeric 4 life.org.
So drill number 4 life.org.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So they can't guarantee. So what happened when they did it the next time?
So therefore, that's where we had to communicate a lot, because these rigs are driven almost 300 miles.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
from the city to the village. So Brian said, if they come back to the city, then you guys will have to pay more. So what do you want us to do? Do you want us to go ahead and just drill another one and take a chance? That's when Stacy and Dion and Jim said, let's go ahead and and drill another one. So we were lucky that when they drilled the next one, where they did not have a surveyor, the driver of the truck said, I think let's try here.
And it was water.
And there was water at 60 meters.
I love this story.
There's a high
Isn't this awesome? I love this. There we go. I love this. This is a movie.
Yeah.
Where's my notebook? I'm gonna start. Listen. You know what? We're doing so awesome, man. This is such a great talk and so inspirational. Just talking about how the power of destiny and how it can lead you right to where God would have you to be. This is so great. I want y'all to stay over. We're going to do this. We're going to make this a part 2.
Right.
So we're going to come back. You'll see the rest of it next week. We're going to finish talking to them about Drill4Life. But in the meantime, if you want to partner with TCT or send a prayer request, you can do that at P.O. Box 1010, Marion, Illinois 62959, or you can call in a prayer request at 800-232-9855, or you can check us out at www.tct.tv. I'll see you next time. Thanks for tuning in.
This has been Public Report. Public Report discusses the issues of interest and importance to our viewing area. Please remember that the views expressed by our guests are their own and do not necessarily represent the views of TCT or the station.